Now I'm going to get straight to it. Never mind the mass, just listen to the message. You know what I realized? And again, I'm not trying to throw so many titles out like the gang stalkers, demons, etc., all that, right? Because, they're one and the same. They're low lives, And when you out here as a high-ranking deity, right on the battlefield, you have to treat them as such. Not meaning, get angry or argue or try to start a physical confrontation. You can even smile sometimes. Just let them know, they're the weak ones. They're the one targeting you. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, if anyone opposing you think that you're not who you say you are, then let them try to do certain things and watch how the boomerang effect hit them times 10, etc. Because you can't mess up what's in the God's plan, But anyways, I realized like the closer you reach your goal, and I'm speaking to the ones that can relate, can resonate to these messages. And again, all I ask, you know, sub up, like the vid, leave a comment if you would like, because I'm really speak for those ones, those underdogs, those ones that may not, that do have a voice but choose not to speak. And you may need, these words to know that you're not alone. And I'm not always going to speak about targeted individuals, gang stalking, but that is a big part of my life. That's a big part of the ones that may pay it, that may run across this video. And again, I understand that there's a million content creators and people talking about the same things, but all I can do is just be me. I'm not trying to be like anyone. And I don't wear this mask to hide, but anyways, always keep in mind that you are a powerful being, because if you wasn't, you would not be targeted so much. Always keep in your mind that they're low lives. Every time they try to make noises and distract you or think they're trying to shut you down from opportunities, and watch how you create them. Be the perfect example of, you came too far to give up. You got to continue to keep going. And I'm not on here trying to be, famous or trying to be some famous whatever content creator. I'm just me. And I've always been authentic. And I'm letting you know that I'm speaking to those ones, if you don't know, which a lot of you do know, that you're a very big, big part of this, what we call creation. You are a creator, and people want you to stay in a box. They want you to talk about or think about what's going on with ICE and Black Panthers and all this stuff that's created. In my opinion, they don't like when people speak the truth and can see through the BS and the lies. See, I don't get too wrapped up in the politics, because I understand it's nothing but a pile of tricks, warlocks and witches, etc. All kind of different, entities, which I don't want to get too deep in this video on that, because I want to stay at hand to let you know that you are reaching your goal. And when you do reach your goal, expect it to get even a little worse. But always understand this: nothing you go through is for no reason. There's a reason behind why you go through things. It could be certain things you may not be doing right, but it could be things that you're absolutely doing right. So just keep your eyes on the prize, and don't worry about on the prize. Don't worry about what anybody say about you. Living your individuality, See, they hate when you could be in love with yourself, when you could actually have a good time with yourself, when you can go out into what they would call nature or out in the atmosphere and actually have hours and hours to yourself. Because this world, especially in the cities, etc., is full of noise and full of gossip and full of fornication and full of hating and full of lust and full of everything. I didn't say I was a perfect character in this, but I am righting my wrongs. There are certain things I'll never do again. You know, I'm not just talking it, I'm actually trying to live it, and I am living it. I'm not perfect, but now I realize that, you know, there's a lot of things that's not good for us that may be deemed good, or, you know, on an everyday basis for us. And it's easy for these demonic attacks, and you're wondering why people constantly trying to attack you and do certain things. Sometimes you have to get away from, you know, certain individuals. You got to detach from a lot, and it's not easy. And that's a big problem I have sometimes I've had. But I have detached from a lot of individuals, a lot of activities, you know, I don't do anymore. But I'm not here to pass judgment to anyone that may do certain things that I don't do anymore. I've just try my best to say, hey, man, or hey, woman, or etc. You know, king, queen. It's better ways. It's better ways to live. It's better ways to think. It's better ways to do with your time than drinking and partying, you know, because Babylon, that's what they teach. Party, drink, okay, work hard, but play even harder. You got to be safe mentally, physically, etc., because it's a war going on. And I'm speaking to those ones, the ones that they call in the Matrix. When he said, Neo, you're the one. And I'm not trying to put certain individuals over any other individuals, but when you are here with a mission straight from the source, you are already assigned legions of demons. They hated him, so you know they hated me, for the ones that catch that, you know, or hated she. Because a lot of these deities back in the day, gods, etc., were most likely even females, but that's for a whole nother video. You know, stay strong, keep going, stay positive. The attacks may get stronger, just know, and you know, stronger or not, stronger, excuse me, that they go attacking my throat chakra. You know, I believe there's all type of things happening to the ones that may call chosen or have a gift, energy weapons. You know, and the enemy of the state was just a glimpse of what can happen. You know, we all being watched, but always understand that the Most High, you know, the ones that make this kind of technology look primitive, don't play about you. Because if they didn't, why haven't they tried to do certain things to you? Because they know, you know, but I won't get too deep in that. But that doesn't mean that people not going to keep trying to attack you, and you can be nice to people. It's like a lot of individuals don't like that. But it's all about how you carry yourself. Because if you let their negative energy get on you and you go around screaming and yelling or having a bad day, you got to smile and try to keep it positive. Of course, you're going to run into negative, but if you keep a positive mind, even the ones that's being mean to you, you know, people meet me, probably gang stalkers, who knows, that's been around the area, older, you know, these bots, trolls, and these agents. And if they ever met me, they'd be like, man, that's actually a cool, down to earth person. But that doesn't mean in certain aspects that the attacks or the mission is going to stop. Because just like you have a mission, they have a mission, you know. But you're always going to overcome, because they wouldn't call you the anointed one or the, you know, the selected one, whatever, for no reason. The gods, the higher power, the source knew that you could come and complete this mission. See, we always looking at life, it's like it's just so simple, and it's not. That's what the devil do. He put this, and he put this, you know, this luxury life in your face, and nice homes and vehicles and camping trips and this and that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a price that comes with that type of evil. What does it say? I'm not a big Bible thumper, but what is a man to gain the world and lose his soul? You know what I mean? The meaning, you can have all the material things in the world, but once you lose your soul, you have nothing. You'll be bound And again, I ain't see that's for a whole nother video. I was about to go into a whole nother topic, but yeah, just know a lot of those individuals, they can't ascend. They can't get far. They're stuck. You know, they don't have the intellect that you have. They don't have the intelligence that you have. This is the reason why they have to try to combine to come against one individual. And I'm not just saying one, I'm saying ones. You know, they don't have the strong capacity to even go through not even half of what you go through. That's why you're the one and they're not. And they even jealous of that. They don't want to go through the fire, the storm, the trials and the tribulations. They want things handed to them on a silver plate, but it don't work that way, you know. But yeah, just know, you know, you're always protected. No matter how many attacks happen, you are protected. Try to stay positive as much as you can. I know that's, you know, not the easiest thing to do, but smile sometimes when you're out. Open the door for people if you encounter them, even if you feel like they're being a jerk, even if they don't say thank you sometimes. Doesn't mean you got to keep doing it, but sometimes just do it. You know, you don't have to be mean and rude just because these negative entities trying to be that way to you. And I'm not talking about kissing a rear end, you know. It's like playing chess, just making the best move. You are the one. I'm out. Triple ones, the God. I own us 13. You know, and like, comment, and subscribe, share, turn on your post notifications if you know, you're rocking with the video. I'm gonna try to make at least one or maybe even two videos a day, you know, depending on the support. You know, I'm going off of energy, but yeah, I'm out. And hype up the video, etc.